Hello there, Seraphim17 once again. This is my Halo 5 Legendary Lone Wolf walkthrough. This is mission 5, it's called Evacuation, and this is one of the toughest missions so far. There is a sequence coming up, a firefight, which is very tricky. It's got some pretty terrible spawns, it's got a bunch of enemies, and I'm hopefully going to be showing you how to circumvent it. There are certain aspects of Halo 5 Guardians that are going to become really apparent really quickly. The first one is some of the big battles that don't really frequent checkpoints and expect you to shoot a lot of people before you progress. And then the second one is they have a new boss mechanic, which is a single boss that they reuse throughout the game. And I haven't really mentioned this, but if you're watching this, I'm assuming you've played the game before, so it's not going to be a spoiler, but if you're curious and you don't want to be spoiled, please click off now. But the boss is a character called the Warden, and I don't know if he's in the books or if he's in any kind of prior fiction, but he's going to pop up throughout the game because he's a very core component to the storyline. And when you fight him, it's going to be the exact same fight every time. I recommend getting very used to how the Warden fights. Know what his attacks are, know how to dodge them if you can dodge them, which is of course the glowing gold laser beam can be dodged if you press B the moment it fires. However, any time before and it'll generally murk you. Also, the distance you have from him will give you more time to dodge. Up close, it is very difficult to get out of the way of it. The ground pound is not an instant kill. You can take at least 2 of those depending on proximity and depending on your shield. The sword swipe is the hardest one to dodge by far because sometimes he'll miss, sometimes he'll kill you when you think he shouldn't. It doesn't really matter what you do, you just need to put anything between you and him and hope to God he misses. And then there is his crazy spirit bomb that he does, his crazy negative energy ball, his freezer final attack move, where he fires this supercharged up black hole at you, which has the tracking properties of Dark Souls 2, which is to say, it's bullshit. However, if you put something between you and it, and you have enough space from whatever the hell you put in front of you, you should be okay, because the AoE, while it is ambitious, you can not take damage from it. You need to get comfortable with this boss, because you're going to fight him a lot. There are at least 5 encounters with him. Some easier than others. But the true horror is every time you fight this dude you get a respect for him because he's hard. He's always backed up by bullshit soldiers, he's always a giant bitch, and he always takes way too much damage than you wish he would. And then when you get to the final boss, you have to fight 3 at the same time. They pull a Vanquish, only without the amazing survivability of Vanquish. And I find it to be almost offensive in how they did it. It's such a bait and switch. There is no reason for it to work the way it does. However, the first 2 checkpoints on that fight are manageable. The first one's rough, because if you get a bad pattern, you have to watch 3 different dudes at the same time, and each of the 3 dudes can instantly kill you. The second pattern is much more manageable, but it's also the most important. The third one is 100% luck, and I hate it. But you're going to be introduced to the Warden, I believe, on this mission. And we're going to fight him. And this one has a safe spot. And I'm going to use the word safe spot fleetingly, because there is a 95% chance of safety. The other 5% is when he kills you with the negative energy ball. And that happened only once. But it happened, so I have to put a disclaimer. Oh, do not go on turrets for too long either. Always detach the turrets. I appreciate you lose the infinite ammo, but you'll just die on this game. You get killed so quickly. Not quite as quick as you got killed by those little green bastards that used to fly at you in Halo 3. Weren't they arseholes? Not even in this game, those. They must have gone extinct, like the Krill. The Krill went on holiday and never came back. But this is a big fight. Buck is dead. Buck's always dead. Next to us, somebody's just done a revive. Did you know how they were green? I think that's that bonus shield you get for reviving. And I think the co-op on this game is going to be really good. Especially on Legendary, because of the revive feature. I think it's going to make it a much more intense, interesting experience. And I played a couple of Halos on co-op, and I remember Was it Halo 3 where if you died, you had to wait for your buddies to either not be in conflict or to be a decent distance, and then it would repopulate you? I think it worked like that on a lot of them, actually. Whereas on this game, there's going to be an opportunity to actually get you up, and it's not broken in a stupid way. Oh, also, can you remember how I was mentioning about reviving people and I was talking about protection missions? Well, also one of the commands on this game is you can send your team to revive people. However, on Legendary, chances are they're probably going to die before they do your instruction. So I don't think it's going to really change the gameplay too much, because this game is, while not ridiculous on Legendary, there are a few checkpoints that are truly going to grow those grey hairs, and you know, I'm 28 years old. I'm an old man when it comes to video games at this point, but you know, I've got a bit of silver coming through, and I blame it on every hard difficulty. I truly do. But look at the checkpoints. You see that then? We got like 2 or 3 checkpoints, and I really don't understand them, and I'm noticing this when I'm editing it. There'll be a time where I'll get a checkpoint, and then I'll get another checkpoint, but when I die, it'll go back to the first one rather than the second one. For no reason. I couldn't honestly tell you why. And it's making editing really interesting. And something I completely didn't understand that's had a massive effect. Can you remember how I said that reloading checkpoints almost instantly? Well, it doesn't affect the sound. There's a very small cut in the sound, so it makes it really hard to spot the deaths on the audio wave channel. So I'm missing a few deaths, and I'm commentating, and then I'll die and be like, oh god damn it, I'll stop the video, I'll trim it out and I'll continue. Whereas on a game where it loads longer, makes it easier to edit. So who knew? The longer your load times, easier it is for video producers. Or, if you're Darkside Phil, doesn't really matter, every game's the same, because he just doesn't edit. Which is not true. In his defense, and Phil should very rarely be defended, but every so often, you know, he deserves it. He does edit his videos, he just doesn't do any real tweaking to them. Like, this is a man who's never removed a loading screen. This is a man who's never removed, you know, pointless, unnecessary footage. This is a man who vlogs everywhere he goes. I'm pretty sure he would stream his own funeral. Which, you know, is just one of those things. We live in a very strange culture, and I'm a part of it. You know, I am speaking on a video and sharing thoughts and opinions, and people listen to it, and it's somehow not really weird. Because when you know, when you really think about it, when you get right down to it, it's kind of weird. And some of these people consider themselves celebrities. And I guess they kind of are. Because they're bigger than, like, the Beatles and shit. Isn't that crazy? Do you think PewDiePie's bigger than the Beatles? And I know there's going to be Beatles fans like, how dare you! He will never be the same! But still. You know? PewDiePie's got stupid subscribers, and he gets, like, tickets to everywhere, because if he markets something, it's going to sell. He has more market potential than the Beatles, because there's an entire generation of people growing up saying, who the fuck are the Beatles? Which is crazy, and I don't like the Beatles, but I at least respect them. But isn't it strange, this generation, this culture that we're building? We're the forerunners of this new direction, and it's a very bizarre direction. Just look at One Direction, a band that I often dream of waking up to news that they all choked in their sleep and were free of the earth of them, because they make stupid money for doing what? Yarbling and crotch thrusting at teenage girls. I missed a trick, didn't I? I should be one of those. I could be the extra One Direction member. I can crotch thrust and yodel. I don't know. It's a strange world we live in, but I don't need to tell you that. You live in it too. Which is why I like playing games. So much more simple. Shoot the bad thing, don't let the bad thing shoot you. Victory. Can we get it? Can we get it? Oh, way too slow, Chris. And that's one of those moments where the auto-aim fights you, and I should be dead now. This is that panic moment like, look at the clipping! I cannot move! And I survived. You should never survive in those instances. That is a knight that was staring at me then, and he just didn't kill me. He decided to go over there and show somebody his pod collection. Which is a really, really dated reference, but if you got it, I love you too. But you can see a couple of people are dead down there, and the knight has got his face exposed, so we can turn him into a nice Christmas decoration of death. And then we can push forward. I really like the submachine gun on this, but it really feels like it's firing Skittles. And anything that's making enemies taste the rainbow is just not doing its job. Ooh, I haven't spoke about those. Remember in Halo 4, there was those douchey aerial things? Those like flying dream catchers that gave the enemy a passage shield and repaired them and things? They're in this game too, but they don't really make a difference. In Halo 4, those things were a nightmare. They really changed the dynamic of the battlefield. On this game, I don't really know what they do. They spend more time just... I don't even know. They're like Terrence and Phillip looking for treasure. Suffice to say, kill them. Kill them and never even notice they were there. It's the best strategy. But look at this, we've been fighting now for what would you think? Maybe about 5 minutes. And I'm noticing that we're still fighting, and I've made very little progress, because it's slow progress in this game at times. And I think it's moments like this when you really feel like you're shooting a lot of dudes and you're not doing a lot of damage. If it was a 2 to 3 bullet kill on heads, it could be so much quicker. But it just really isn't. And look at when I get the saw out, just broke his armour, and that's how much it took to kill him. That's half the clip. Half the clip of a light machine gunner, a special gun, to take down a standard fodder grub. It's crazy. It's really crazy. And it goes to show how I think games have changed. Because when I was playing Gears of War Ultimate Edition again, it's been a long time since I've played Gears, and I forgot just how much damage the Locusts could take. You know, when you just lancer them to the chest. They take a full clip unless you have an active. They take a beating. But there's less of them, so you don't notice that they take such a beating. And if you get headshots on that game, they really matter. Headshots are god tier on that game. You get an active on the snub, you put like 3 to 4 active rounds on a Locust's face, and it pops. And it feels wonderful. And it makes the gameplay feel like they reward you for accuracy. Whereas on this particular game, I don't feel like I'm being rewarded for headshots outside of when their armor breaks. And the only time I truly feel like my input matters is against the Knights or against the Elites, because I can do the noob combo. I just wish there was more of it, I truly do. Like, certain aspects of the Covenant combat is not in this game because it's not been in it for a while. Because haven't the Brutes all gone on holiday? They've all emigrated to Puerto Rico or something. So you don't see them anymore. And I really liked fighting them because they were an enemy that you could take the shield off and instantly kill. By the way, this sniper rifle I've picked up with the yellows thing on it, I think it's called the Nilf Fang or something like that. Is it any better? What is it? There's a moment coming up where I see 2 snipers on the floor and I swap between them and I don't know what it means. Because it looks identical. And I never paid enough attention to fully decipher what was different between it. Maybe it does triple shot. Didn't there used to be a sniper on this game that did like a triple shot? Or am I just making shit up? No idea. But there's a checkpoint, folks. Now we get a little bit of a calm before the storm to regroup, rekindle our thoughts, get some new guns in. Oh, did I not pick that up? Maybe I'm thinking I can come back to it for a refill. You should always go with the battle rifle. That laser means that you're up against snipers. Depending on what the sniper uses depends on how dangerous he is. That was a one-shot, one-kill headshot. Why is that not every single sniper rifle headshot? How satisfying does that look? It looks great. And that is perfect balancing for me. The snipers are lethal, but they die fast. And I find that wonderful. And this sniper looks really nice. I do like the... That is amazing. Nice little train of dogs hopping over there. But let's talk about the snipers. So if a sniper's using a carbine, it'll take about half your shield, I think. If it's using a binary rifle, and it gets you in the full beam, you're dead. If it's using a sniper rifle, it will take all your shield and 1/2 of your life. The second shot will kill you. It's fair, I think. It's really fair. I think the sniper are probably my favourite enemies in the game. Because if you can see them, and you can shoot them in the face, as long as you're using a rifle or a sniper, they're dead. Like, they're a really great... Here it is. What is it called? I can't read it. It looks like Nilf Fang or something. The preview screen's not great, guys. I'm sure you know what it is and you can explain it to me. But that, see it? It's like, what's different? I'm not getting it. This is the same scope. So instead what I did is I saved it on the floor and I come back for it later on. But this one had more ammunition in it, so I chose that over it. But I think that could be a cool thing. Unique versions of weapons that are slightly different or slightly better. That could be a really cool addition to this game, and maybe that's what that is. I don't know. But there's me doing a couple of spawn grenades, but the grenades on this game really don't seem to do the business as the old ones. Oh, that was unfortunate, wasting a bullet. But look at that! And I got a checkpoint for that! Wow. Let's see when the next checkpoint is, just to see if the game truly is going to do the whole, we'll checkpoint you when nothing's happening, but as soon as it gets... Oh no, it's just done. So the checkpoint's just finished checkpointing, so go away. Let's see, we're on 15:36, that's the time we're on. We've got at least another 10 minutes on this video. Where's the next one coming? So I'm picking up some ammo, listening to Kelly talk about my baby, and then we're going to cruise up here and move towards that difficult fight. There's a secret over here, so bust through the ventilation. What is it in here? Is it a weapon? It is intel, which I'm going to pick up a few of them, but after a while I'm like, God, there's a lot of this, I'm not going to do this. And there is a railgun, so this is kind of cool. It's a little cache that's got a really powerful gun. And I swapped the sniper out for it because I believe it should be better because it is explosive. And then please pick up the binary rifle because it's usually a really good idea to do that. But we killed like, what, 4 snipers? There's a ton of binary rifles. And I'm choosing the binary rifle over the railgun, which, because I don't know the damages on the guns, and I never played the multiplayer too much, I couldn't honestly tell you if that was a smart idea. Which is one of the things I wish this game did. I like seeing stats. I like seeing how good a gun is. And if you can give me a couple of, like, you know, bar graphs or something, like the weapons on Call of Duty and the multiplayer where it shows you how they're accurate and the damage and, you know, everything, that would be really nice. And they might do that on this game in some avenue, but I just haven't noticed it. I should have probably said this earlier, actually. There is a 9 gig day 1 patch for this game, and without it you cannot be online when you play on Xbox One, because the Xbox One without the patch does not let you on Xbox Live when you play, which is absolutely horrendous. And I think it's one of the unfortunate vestigial features from it being a console that was designed to always be on and always be anti-fucking player, anti-consumer. And then they flip-flopped, but the system's hardware was wired from the ground up to function that way. So I think that's one of the issues that it has. So I played this game offline without the patch, and for all I know, the patch could fix the last boss so that it's actually fun. I don't know what it does. So if you're curious of what version of the game, this is literally vanilla before any improvements or nerfs. But every so often there's an area that you can find that has a lever that allows you to turn a turret on, and this does 2 things that you need to be aware of. The first one is damage. The turrets will do a decent job of shooting dudes. They're not going to kill everything, they're not going to change your life. You know, it's not like the turrets in Aliens on the special edition where they actually do really, really good things until they run out of ammunition. But the second thing is they will distract the enemies. The one cool thing about this game is everybody isn't all the time completely obsessed with you. Every so often they are, but for the most, there are moments where you can get away with not being the centre of the attention all the time. And when you turn a turret on, it generally gives you an opportunity to not immediately get bummed when you come out of cover. And I'm actually going to use the turret turn on to distract a bunch of enemies on the next sequence and skip a massive fight. And it's a really good strategy, but you're going to die at least 15 times to get it to work the way it will in this video. And then after that, it gets even rougher because there's a knight you're going to have to run past, and if he decides to kill you, it is literally up to him and his fanny pack and diary, because that's where they keep their diary, their little filofax. Which, do you know what a filofax is? Is that a universal term for something that everybody had? Or is that just one of the mid-90s hangovers that nobody remembers? I remember filofaxes, and I remember feeling important when I had one, but I never used it for what it's probably used for. I like to think it's a yuppie diary, or it's some kind of, you know, higher class, deluded, important thing. But I just couldn't tell you. So, turn on the turret, run over here, and jump and boost directly off of this balcony. I do that to cover the distance quicker and try and get a stun, and then I just push this here. You're hopefully going to get a checkpoint, but get in cover immediately. Just stick anything between you and the bad people. As soon as you get a checkpoint, then you can start pushing up. All we need to do is go directly forward, but there is a lot of people in the way and they hate us, you know. It's like we're their only black dude at a clan rally and they know we're not one of them. So you need to straight up tell these people that there's something wrong with their brains and they should not be doing this anymore. Although they do fantastic things for the roads, they are all massive racists. But I've got the shotgun on for the close quarters. You see that? That is a knight, and that is a grenade-launching asshole who has a turret. So this next cross I'm about to do is 100% luck and bullshit. But sometimes it's the most fun thing in the world. So if we can get rid of the turret man, the only thing to contend with is the knight. Do I get rid of turret man, or do I just commit? I think I'm going to commit, you know. I've got that happy-go-lucky squat on. There's the grenade. And he's moved. You see how he's moved? I'm going to kill him. I killed him. So now I've killed him, this is much more simple. If you try and run this without killing him, it's luck and bullshit, but this is okay. You see my life, though? Jesus! Where did it go? He took nearly 99% of my shield was gone. As soon as you get up here, you'll hit a checkpoint on the straight, and you have no idea the fight you've just skipped, because it's long. It's so long. Ugh. But I think that's a fantastic strategy, and it's really easy to do. It just requires that you don't get immediately murdered when you get out of cover, and it does happen, because sometimes the game just wants you dead. But there's a nice battle rifle waiting for you, with 72 rounds in it that's going to literally kill 5 people. And then we're coming up on the end of the mission. I say end of the mission, we're coming up on the very tricky part of the mission. But drop down here and keep on pushing forward, and there's going to be a wonderful vaulted chamber that's full of lava. Although technically, isn't it only lava when it's at the surface? So I don't know if this counts, because when it's still underground it's magma, isn't it? But, you know, I don't know. I'm not a meteorologist or a geologist or someone who studies... I say meteorologist. Why would he study volcanoes? I don't know. Maybe there's, you know, meteorites that cause volcanoes or something. I don't know. Is there a name for somebody who studies volcanoes? Probably. Do I know it? No. Look at it though. I've always appreciated this aspect of Halo. They're not afraid to have a massive chamber full of Halo-looking things. Even if it's just essentially, you know, some person who's addicted to Tatooine's earring. Because it's what it looked like. It looked like some crazy just selection of rings. Like we're on Atlas's navel right now. But this is the calm before the storm, guys. And I could have trimmed this out, but I kept it in. But are you ready for it? Because there's about to have a massive difficulty spike. So as soon as the Warden initiates combat, I move all the way up onto this balcony because there's a nice piece of cover that's automated, and it means we can get a nice vantage point on the spawn that happens afterwards. So I get behind him here, couple of shots on his back. The way he works, he takes damage on all of him, but his core at the back takes more damage, and I think his head takes slightly more damage than his body, but nowhere near as much damage as his back. My strategy? Shoot him in the head. Shoot him in the head as much as you can. And every time he does that crazy light show of blue energy, it means that you've progressed the fight an extra step. You have to do that 4 or 5 times, so just an idea of how much we're going to have to shoot this dude. So, this is the second phase now. There was a checkpoint. I drop down here, put on the scatter burst, pick up some ammo off this rack just here, swap the gun apparently because I'm out of ammo, come all the way around here, pick up hopefully a light gun and some grenades. There was the light rifle, Chris, why did you not get it? Pick up the rifle, thank you game, and dodge the laser beam. He goes kind of crazy. I chuck a grenade at him because I'm feeling cavalier. You might be wondering why I'm this close. Well, he'd killed me a lot at this point and I was kind of fearless. So I boost all the way back over here, getting shot in my ass, and I'm going to take you now to a safe spot. The only way you can die in this spot is if he fires the negative ball of energy too close to it. But in this corner, it is a clipping nightmare. It's really tricky to get in, really tricky to get out at times, smoothly. But all you can do, shoot him in the face with this light rifle. Whenever he fires anything, go in cover. Come back out, shoot him in the face. None of the soldiers will bother you here, and the only way this guy gets even remotely close to killing you is, as I've mentioned, that miracle shot with the crazy energy thing. He can get close and try and attack you with his sword, but it just doesn't seem to work. So shoot him in the face, and just keep on doing this. The only trouble here is if he doesn't die, because then you have to go out, pick up ammo, and then come back, and doing that when all these moves effectively one-shot you is tricky. Shoot him in the face, hope your team come. This could be a good idea to order your team to go behind him, to try and get him to turn around. But once again, most of my team at this point are probably dead, and I didn't know you could control them. So, ignorance is bliss. But right now, he's doing that energy ball, or some variant of it, but he doesn't seem to be firing it. And that's another phase. What's that now? 3, 4? Keep on shooting him. This guy goes on forever. I could shoot him more here, but you have no idea how much damage I put on this dude, and he didn't die. So I'm in no rush to deal damage here, guys, at all. I'm just kind of like, how do I do this? This is kind of dumb. But that was it. And the surprise on my face when he died, I'm like, what? I shot that guy so many more times with a suppressing shitty gun and all this other stuff, and then I teabagged him because I was angry. I do a lot of this. For some reason, the warden rubbed me the wrong way, so every time I kill him, I do a little ballsack dance on his grave. And it's not mature, and it's not even funny, but at the time, it was really cathartic, so please indulge me. But that is the end of the mission. I'm going to run around here and pick up some spare ammo just in case, and then when you push on, it's going to end. But it looked really easy what I did then, guys. That took me about 30 minutes, figuring it all out and getting it to work. The final phase and finding that corner was the tricky part. As soon as I had that corner, I knew I had a strategy. I even tweeted saying, I've got a spot, I just can't make it work. And the reason was, I was emptying every gun I had on him and he wasn't dying. And I was doing nothing different. So if you're having trouble there and he's living forever, I know exactly how you feel. But hopefully, you'll get a good run like that and you'll not have a problem. But get comfortable with that fight because you're going to be seeing it a lot. For better or for worse. Thank you for watching. You take care now.